If I were to describe my experience with Pokemon SoulSilver, I would describe it as a roller coaster. I mean, Pokemon's current state can be classified as that right now. It's kind of known for being the epitome of you and I, our nostalgia growing up, and simultaneously being that classmate who barely does anything on a project, but still gets marked full points. But I digress. The community has, for the most part, depicted Gen 4 Pokemon SoulSilver and HeartGold to be one of the best overall Pokemon games. It collectively has a bunch of things from the previous generation and adds upon it. You know what? In fact, it has the last generation region in the game. Now that is pure value. And for a bunch of folks, this is the definitive and kind of complete Pokemon package. Unfortunately, I am not most folks. Hey, my name is Billy, and you're probably here because of the title of this video. Now, before there are people in the comments typing at lightspeed that this is their favorite Pokemon game, and I am slandering it, without watching the video, please hear me out. I am not trying to offend anyone in this video. Honest. This game legitimately means a lot to me at an emotional level, and I too can completely understand the greatness that is Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver. I nowhere near hate this game, but on the opposite spectrum, I am not infatuated with it either. This is more for me, and I'll explain that in a little bit. All I ask is you guys cut me a little bit of slack and go easy on me. And on that note, let me tell you guys about my adventure with SoulSilver all the way from the beginning. It's late 2014 and I just beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire on my 3DS. That was my first traditional mainline Pokemon game. Additionally, that is my favorite Pokemon game to this date. But I beat it and I still yearned for more. With the power of Google, I was able to see that, HeartGold and SoulSilver was highly recommended from basically everyone in the Pokemon community. Literally regarded as some of the best, if not the best. Some of these range from like a $15 cartridge, which is most likely a bootleg cartridge on like an R4 card or something like that. And some are, god damn. Oh yeah, them boys costed a penny, and they probably costed even more if you wanted a working Pokewalker. When you carry your own little Pokeball and it has your digital mon inside of it, so you get to carry it around the real world. Wait, that's pretty awesome. And I don't know how often it's been compared to this, but it is literally a Tamagotchi. Now, as cool as it is, I never experienced this. Now, it was really around late 2018 where all this started kind of changing. Around that period, I met someone online that I was playing a bunch of games with. We grew rather close, but it was all long distance. And long distance being long distance, we eventually grew distant and I was a complete mess. But she was really already moving on to seeing other people. And I won't really go any more into detail into that. I don't really want to skew the story or make any claims about the story. But hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to put down. Regardless, I was heartbroken. Here is where my sister's husband, or I guess boyfriend at the time, it's still kind of weird calling him husband. Not my husband, her. Yikes. He basically cheered me up. He gave me an envelope, and inside of that envelope had a card. A big old middle finger for how I was really feeling at the moment and basically wanted to show everyone. And inside that card was basically saying, kick everyone to the curb and kick ass. And Pokemon SoulSilver. But yeah, that whole story basically has a lot of emotional meaning to me, and this cartridge has a lot of meaning to me on a physical level. I played SoulSilver non-stop, and when I finally beat SoulSilver, my initial thoughts were, yeah, it's good. Just good. A part of me felt pretty terrible that I didn't fall in love with my initial journey. I knew at one point or another I wanted to do another playthrough, and it was really only until last year, 2024, where I played Pokemon SoulSilver again, and I even got footage for it. This old 2024 footage. So why didn't I talk about it back then? And you know what? It was for a good reason. I didn't want someone to find my IP address because I wasn't in the majority of opinions. By making this video, it is me accepting and coming to terms with my feelings. So I hope you are okay with that. And additionally, please ignore this UI that I made just for this playthrough and footage capturing stuff. I didn't put a DS logo when I'm obviously playing a DS game, and the colors and everything just don't match. But damn, it's ugly. Now we start off naming our little dude and spawning him. into existence, into the setting of Johto. You know, we're at that age to Pokemon it up. So we swing by Professor Elm's lab and grab our first Pokemon, the companion for the journey of all time, to become the very best. We choose Cyndaquil. I wish I chose Totodile. And we'd name him All Reliable Adeptus. Then Elm requests that we meet with Mr. Pokemon. Yeah, I can't make that up. His name is Mr. Pokemon. But we need to pick something up. It ends up being an egg, and Professor Oak is there just kind of chilling and gives us a Pokédex. And he also lets us know that we have quite a bit of potential to becoming a great trainer. I kind of love that because it's just a little nod to the first generation and kind of the show, you know. Also, yeah, damn, his theme is so good! It's so good! It's so good! After we pick up the egg, we get a call from Elm saying something's wrong at the lab. And on our way back, we meet this little guy. He tries to leave town and he is our rival. We end up bumping heads and then battling. Of course, I win. You know, I don't really remember what I named him back in my playthrough last year, so let's check this together. What the f? Turns out he stole one of the starter Pokemons from Professor Elm. There is a policeman in here and he's kind of useless, thinking that we are somehow the culprit of this situation. Remember guys, his ideology is that the culprit will always come back. Sir, pack it up. You're fired. Elm does see that we do have a Pokédex and suggests that we go to the different cities in town to become a Pokemon champion. How do we do that? Defeat the 8 gym leaders of Johto and go to the Pokemon League. And before we go on to the next part of the video, I just want to give my initial thoughts. I love the beginning. I love when slow-paced beginnings are done right. This is fun, this is whimsical, and lastly, it's very lighthearted. Now, I never grew up with the 2D top-down, you know, Pokemon games, the retro games. This is very slow, and I'm just talking about on like a mechanical level. Like, just look at how fast I move. Literally not at all, but somehow it brings me a feeling of familiarity even though I've never played these games or have prior nostalgia with it. It's a good feeling. Now we make it to Violet City, the first town of the game, and this is kind of the start of seeing how Johto identifies itself, with the Bellsprout Towers looking similar to the real-life equivalents of the Kansai temples in Japan. And you know what? We actually have to make our way up the Bellsprout Tower to fight a bunch of bozos, and then our rival, and only then can we fight the first gym leader. Frankly, we slam dunk these nuts on him and give me that badge. We win. And I know it's kind of early, but something about me is that when I play a Pokemon game, for the most part, know which mons that I want on my team. So after the first town, I caught quite a bit of Pokemon to add to our party. Alright y'all, meet the crew. We got Whoop the Whooper, Wrath the Mareep, one of the few electric type evolutions in the game that doesn't use the trade system. And lastly, we had to bring back Gale the Zubat, a returning face. Then we trek onto Azalea Town, which is overrun with Team Rocket, who are capturing all of the Slowpokes. Now, Azalea Town, this is literally my favorite town in the whole game. It's not like it's really thriving with things to do. It's small, it's quaint. I love the closed off nature of it, how it's kind of like right next to a forest. And the best part, it's accompanied by my favorite track in this game. Here also houses Kurt, the Pokemon Ball creator and master. Straight up, I did not use him. He really caters to the catch-em-all type players. That is not me. And lastly, we fight our rival again. And he says that he hates the weak. And he lost. There's this Farfetch puzzle that I kind of like. I thought it was fun. We get the cut HM so that we can go back to town and do the second gym. Now the actual gym itself, the puzzle's kind of below. It's just trial and error until you get to the gym leader. And the gym leader is Bugsy. She is, give me that badge, boy. I was just talking about a forest earlier right outside of this town, and I was able to catch a Heracross, which I definitely thought was going to be on my team permanently, but little did I know, even my philosophy doesn't always hold true. So one thing I do want to talk about right now is your other rival, Lyra, and I haven't really talked about her because she's not even like a rival. She's just more of like your hometown buddy, also going on her own adventure and just doing her own thing. So to that, I say she's just existing. Her grandparents also thought we were dating, which admittedly is kind of, I don't know, I thought it was a cute little thing. Now the next city, Goldenrod, is such a vibe. Probably my second favorite town. The orange kind of autumny vibe it gives, the music. This is the town where you get your bike in. There's this like underground barber and booth. And the most important part, this is where you can check your Pokemon's happiness. It all culminates to a town that you'll be spending a lot of time in. And the difficulty, it kind of ramps up. This is where you meet Whitney, the third gym leader. Now if you're a fan of Gen 4 and you know what I'm talking about, and you like this battle, you're a masochist. She seems easy because she's a normal type gym leader. And then blammo, she has a Miltank that destroys you. Like holy, I died several times. And it was only thanks to the Heracross that I caught earlier with Brick Break, we were able to get through. And now the next city, the fourth area, Ekritique City. It's kind of the last event I vaguely remember from my adventures last year. Specifically, this is the core identity of Johto. It has a lot of Japanese cultural influenced themes. It's a city with shrines and temples more prevalent than Violet City. And you also have a group called the Kimono Dancers, which is kind of in charge of the ceremony of bringing the box art legendaries into fruition. And Morty, the gym leader, he's a ghost type trainer. He is awesome to battle, and I think it was a good way to kind of meet that midpoint section of the game. Now everything onward is more or less a blur, except for specific stuff. Like Chuck, the fighting gym leader, was forgettable. I don't even remember the town that he resided in. There's this lighthouse quest that you have to do for Jasmine in Olivine City. You basically skip it so that you can get like medicine. There is an iconic Lake Nose red monster. That did not roll off the tongue at all. And I don't even remember if I caught him. I just didn't use him because I have my whoop. However, I do remember going back to Goldenrod eventually to meet Bill, the same Bill that actually created the PC system, I think, within the Pokemon Center. We actually met with him so that we can pick up an Eevee, and then we evolve him into an Espeon. Well, actually, we fly up and down this road because we need a hatched egg, but then we name our Espeon. I named him Nest-like from Earthbound. I've used Umbreon a lot, I've used Jolteon a lot. It's time to give Espeon some love. Now, the next gym leader, Price, I don't even remember a single damn thing about Price. The gym itself was an ice-type gym, but it felt more like a section of a dungeon or a cave than a gym. To be frank, the last couple of memorable things is that we go and defeat Team Rocket with the Johto champion, Lance. That was insane because we did a double battle with him. And really the last part of the game, Blackthorn City. And this is where we catch our last member on the team. It was time to say goodbye to Heracross. You served me well, my prince, but it was time to let the king shine. Lance. Who eventually evolved into a Mamoswine. Man, Blackthorn and onward basically felt like hell for me. It just felt like I was getting my ass kicked so bad, and I was definitely underleveled. The 8th gym leader, Claire, was absolutely kicking my ass. You know, and if I thought this was challenging, by the time I got to Victory Road, it wasn't actually Victory Road itself, but it was the Elite Four. That was when all of the gym leaders were legit higher level than me, and I needed to grind. Like, I can't even imagine how Nuzlockers even play this game sometimes, man. This is the point in the game where I was just like, what haven't I done? Let's go kill Lugia. Well, with that, I felt like I didn't have anything left to do in the game. I know there's a bunch of stuff like catching the roaming beasts, and there's quite a bit of other legendaries I could have went out of my way to catch, but it was time to persevere and move forward. Karen specifically in the Elite Four was giving me such a hard time. But of course, like the Giga Chad we are, we make it to the champion. Oh man, and if I thought Karen was hard, Lance, man. Lance is something else. His typing is Dragon, and I don't even know if it's the typing that's the issue. It just feels like he has 5 million Dragonites in his arsenal. I swear every time I defeat one, he's just like, wait a minute. And look at the level disparity here. What the hell? And this is why I felt like I needed to catch Lance just based off my previous experience. Now, I definitely did not speed through the game. I had about like 30-35 hours within the game already by this point. But even with Lance, an ice type going against the dragon type trainer, I had a rough time. This was really a battle of attrition at this point. Although a new member, he was 100% the MVP of this whole run. But both of us low HP, both of us on our last Pokemon, you know who wins. And the last part of the game is us seeing our team pose for the flick as we become the champion of Johto. And the credits roll, that was Pokemon SoulSilver. Wait, no, it's not. So after you defeat the Elite Four, if you talk to Professor Elm, he gives you a ticket for the SS and to actually go back to Kanto, the first generation region. Admittedly, this is an awesome treat to new players and old-time fans. But here is the thing. I did not finish Kanto. I got about halfway through. I got about like 3 or 4 gym badges before I stopped. You know, let's go over the good of my experience. Some things I've said, some things I didn't. Firstly, your Pokemon follows you. Literally, I think that is a no-brainer and something the whole community wants in our current day Pokemon games. Now, whether it is Game Freak or the Pokémon Company controlling this decision, put that in the game. We want that. 2, the towns are something that I have grown to really like. It's like the NPCs, the culture, the nooks and crannies made me realize that I enjoy Johto a lot more than I thought. Still nowhere near my favorite region, but I have grown to come around to it. Number 3. So I didn't do this in my playthrough, I don't think. The Safari Zone and the Pokeathlon are the single best side distractions probably in the series. Like, it's actually fun minigames to either catch Pokemon or grind certain specific items. I think of it like the Pokénav from Oras. It's just more varied and I think it's more fun. Number 4. For the most part, the music is a treat. The DS font is something else that just makes it just hits, you know. Number 5, just on pure content alone, having 2 regions in the game, that's pure bliss. That's more Pokemon. Like, whether or not I have nostalgia glasses for this game or not, I can appreciate that there is just so much to do in this game. Now, as much as I cherish this game emotionally, I think it's time to rag on it. Some opinions are more nitpicky than others, but you know, here we go. Okay, so firstly, the variety of Pokemon in this game is kind of laughable. You're telling me this is a new region, but the first Johto Pokemon Gym Leader has 2 Pokemons from the previous generation. It kind of sets Johto with the expectation that it is more of a sequel, kind of like a Kanto 2.0 than its own identity. It just kind of has an in-game identity revolving around the Pokemon in general. There's a ton of Gen 1 Pokemon still here, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also only Johto Pokemon that can be caught in Kanto. How does that make sense? Like Houndour, for example. How does that make sense? And I think this next bit kind of plays into me playing the game quite a bit later than release, but a lot of the new evolutions for Johto Pokemon or even old Kanto Pokemon are trade specific. Scyther to Scizor, Electabuzz to Electivire, Magmar to Magmortar. Like, I hate trade evolutions, but that is its own thing. Alright, so my second thing about this game, am I crazy or do I feel like the encounter rate is like extremely high? I feel like it has one of the highest encounter rates in all of the Pokemon series. Like, you really need to consider freaking repels. And honestly, the only thing that I kind of want to repel is my 3DS into this wall because it's annoying. Alright, so my third reason. This is a big one because this is the sole reason that made me confused about my feelings about SoulSilver. It's about the level curvature that happens towards the end of the game. Now, I don't think this is too uncommon of an opinion, but legitimately I am pretty against this. I love a challenge when it's done right, but I hate by the fact that by the 7th or 8th gym, it felt like my journey kind of came to a halt. But my take is grinding in Pokemon games is not fun. Grinding in any game isn't really fun. And hot take or not, like I said, this was kind of the reason why I didn't make the video in the first place. And it doesn't make it any better that if you do need to grind, the Pokemons on Victory Road are like 10 levels under you. So it just takes forever. Alright, so I've been recording for like 2 hours now, so I'm sitting down. And those are my opinions about Pokemon SoulSilver. And ironically enough, even though I made this video, I still hop on SoulSilver every now and then and kind of trek a little bit, do a couple trainers, and hopefully I make way to Red. But I also don't want to grind because that was one of my gripes anyways. But I don't hate the game. I think it's very cozy actually. And the game just means so much to me. It was a hug when I needed it. And again, it really isn't bad at all. It's just not my preferred Pokemon game. I don't know. What do you guys think about Pokemon SoulSilver? Am I in the minority? You guys should leave a comment down below. I read all comments. I respond to all comments, so I would love to strike up a conversation with y'all. My Discord is in the description, so if you guys want a place to play some games, talk, have some fun, hopefully meet some new friends, make some new friends. I'm trying to build a community, so please click on that link and make my day. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, or at least didn't want to kill me. Our next adventure will come soon. Peace! Yikes.